Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is April, and I'm here with ClearPath for Veterans New England, and we are really excited to be sharing with you, bringing on a guest today. We have Tye Thompson, who's the program director at Northeast Passage, and we're going to be talking about recreational therapy and the importance of community. For many of you that have been following us over the past few weeks, the beginning of June, we actually launched our 50/50 raffle, in part to bring not only awareness to our ClearPath programs, but in particular, veteran suicide, which is not an often easy topic to talk about. And we want to make sure that we're sharing the most up-to-date information and also answering questions of the community, whether it be for veterans and their families or for people that maybe that could use some assistance. So I'm going to get started. So just some housekeeping, friends. We are recording this. Please feel free to drop your questions in the chat. And if you are catching the replay, no problem. We will absolutely get back to you afterwards. So I'm going to go around the room and introduce everybody, and then I'm going to let them tell you a little bit about themselves. So I'm going to first start with our ClearPath for Veterans team. We have Michael Mullen, we have Brandon Burgell, we have Kelly Ratcliffe, and they are all peer mentor specialists here and also wear many hats to support our veterans and their families here at ClearPath. And I'm excited to introduce Tye Thompson, the program director at Northeast Passage. Welcome, Tye.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to start with you, Michael. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what you do here at ClearPath, and then we'll go to Brandon, Kelly, and then we will introduce you, Tye. Thank you.
So thank you, April. So as I'm sure many of you who have been watching our series all along know by now, I do a lot here, mostly program development, but I also do a lot of data collection and analysis work, amongst many other things. We're a small team, and we definitely end up wearing as many hats as possible to help each other out. But I'm an Army combat veteran, served with 101st, one tour to Afghanistan, and yeah, I'm ready to get this going. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Brandon Burgell here. I do a little peer mentoring here at ClearPath, and I do a lot of recreational and other activities, coordinating that stuff. So I'm an Army veteran as well, and that is me.
So hi, everyone. I'm Kelly Ratcliffe. I am an outreach peer specialist. Most times you'll find me at the front desk. I'm the meter and greeter. As everyone says, we all wear different hats. I kind of take those hats and get them organized and try to keep them organized. I think that's a better way of explaining what I do. So I work with, all the different programs to tie them together and get the information out there to as many people as we possibly can. Also a combat veteran, Army, 8.5 years, and I got a service dog through ClearPath, which is how I found them.
Awesome. All right, Tye, tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Northeast Passage.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Tye Thompson. My pronouns are they and them. I am one of the program directors here at Northeast Passage. So Northeast Passage is a nonprofit organization. We're a rec therapy program that is part of the service and research branch of the College of Health and Human Services here at the University of New Hampshire. We were founded in 1990 as an independent nonprofit, and then through several early years of collaboration with the university, we're invited to be part of that community engagement arm in 2000. So we are officially part of the University of New Hampshire. So our mission is to empower people living with disabilities, both visible and invisible, to define, pursue, and achieve whole life health, community engagement, and personal fulfillment. And we use the context of recreation engagement and sports participation to do that. So we kind of have three main legs to the way that we run over here. As part of the university, we're tied to the academic mission, largely through teaching and research. A lot of the face of Northeast Passage that people are very familiar with is our adaptive sports and rec program. That's open to people who are non-veterans as well as people who are veterans and have served. And then we also have a community-based rec therapy program, so more specific health management program, disability-focused health management program. We do some work in schools with kids who have disabilities as well, largely connected to social emotional goals with their IEP. So since 2005, like I said, veterans have always been included in our programs, but we've been really working to create a whole continuum of services for veterans. So we work with people, we have our veteran rec program. So it's basically sign up, show up, come connect, come have fun, do the things that make you feel good and alive in the world. And then we have an individualized rec therapy program. So working with people more specifically one-on-one in the context of their home community to establish patterns of community engagement and, accessing all of those everyday people, places, and things that support health. So our New England communities are rich in like really great pockets of resources and cool little programs and people and natural resources, and being able to help people figure out, what are the things and how do I get to them, and whether it be adaptive equipment or maybe some of the self-management strategies that I've been talking about in office situations. Let's just go make those live and go do things that make life feel important and meaningful.
Awesome. And so I'm curious to know a little bit. So, wow, like you guys have many programs to support lots of different people in the community. That's amazing.
Quite impressive.
Yes, very impressive. So I am curious to know a little bit about kind of the history of how you identified recreational therapy and serving veterans and some of those programs in particular, kind of how those came to be, because, as we bring awareness to your program here today, I want people to recognize what it does what it does to support veterans, and where also maybe people can support you in spreading the word of out to the community.
Yeah. So I started working at Northeast Passage in 2007. Prior to that, I worked at a private behavioral health hospital in New Hampshire, and connected with Jill Gravink, who was the person that founded Northeast Passage. She's still the executive director at Walking Dogs in the Woods. And, what are you doing now? And, are you thinking about maybe making a change? One of the things that I really love about Northeast Passage is that I think that one of our strengths is our ability to kind of recognize what are the patterns in the community and what's needed, and how can we fill gaps and be part of solutions that are needed within the community, and kind of looking at our veteran population, what was happening post 9/11 with increases in deployment, and looking at people returning and separating from service with significant disabilities related to combat experiences, with like all the increases in body armor that people are coming back, with extensive multi-system, like lots of body trauma that perhaps they would not have survived before, that this is going to be an important need. And in addition to that, all of the secondary, all of the invisible wounds of war and complications of military service that impact people's emotional health as well. And that was part of Jill's reason for talking to me, is because that was my previous employment history. So I think it really was a matter of looking at, like, this is a population that we have been serving in some capacity, and that it is going to be a need in our communities, and how can we be a part of that solution? We had, sort of back in 1999, that had a research grant that worked with people with spinal cord injuries for our individualized community-based rec therapy program. And the idea was that if we catch people at points of transition, from rehab to home, and really work with people around how are you engaging in the community, living things that are a part of your personal identity, and connecting with the people that you love in ways that you love, how does that impact health? Because, as people's worlds get smaller and you pull into your home and don't engage in the world around you, there's a lot of secondary health conditions that can occur, like whether it be weight gain, metabolic disease, blood pressure, like all the secondary things that can kind of come on. How can we impact the course of health after changes in mobility? And that had some really good outcomes. Public health sectors are a little bit difficult. VA is a little bit more nimble, actually. So as a specialty health market, we were able to connect with our local Manchester VA and talk about this as a possible solution, and they were on board. So early on, we were able to establish a relationship with our local VA hospital as a community care partner, and they would refer veterans to us to really work individually around health management, community access, and introducing adaptive equipment and developing sort of confidence and self-efficacy and like getting out there and getting engaged in the world.
I was just going to ask you a question about the veterans that you're serving, Tye. Is it veteran-specific programs where it's just veterans, or is it mix, or I'm curious.
Great question.
Yeah. So at this point, we do have veteran-specific programs. So our vet rec programs are for veterans. And this has kind of come about as kind of creating our whole continuum of service, right? So like early on, we were able to work with VA specifically individually. So if I'm working, with, Joe Green, and Joe is interested in, fly fishing, we're looking at the local fly fishing places near him, or maybe it's, carving or, basket weaving, whatever it is, rock climbing, whatever the local resources are. But also it is important to find spaces where veterans can connect with one another, because as you all know, that's where a lot of magic happens. So especially with the VA Adaptive Sports Grant, we were able to apply for the VA Adaptive Sports Grant and really kind of beef up our veteran-specific programs. So now, if we're working with people individually, we often refer people to our vet rec programs or to like ClearPath New England. It kind of depends on where people live and what are the resources that are around them. And we have a large group of veterans who are on our mailing list to sign up and show up for our vet rec programs. And that has its own strength as well, in that you have a group of veterans who are coming together to be able to like connect with one another in a way that is safe and supported and meaningful.
Right. So I know that one thing that we often talk about during these broadcasts, regardless of the subject, is the lack of or the loss that a service member experiences when they transition out of that community and that understanding, that support system. And then when we're talking about the population you serve specifically, with veterans who may have sustained debilitating injuries and been separated from the military earlier than they wanted to, and that loss has to be so much more extreme for them. So having a veteran specific community where they can come back together, I just think it's awesome what you guys are doing.
Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah, no, it's definitely great things that Tye and Northeast Passage are doing up there. One thing at ClearPath that we really appreciate about them and their styles, it's really sold on getting the veteran engaged and doing something they enjoy, then that they may have enjoyed previously that they aren't able to do now, finding ways to get them to enjoy it again, as well as introducing new activities for them to enjoy in as well. I know Tye talked about a lot of things that become better over time as they participate in this program, but it isn't sold to the veteran that way. It's sold to the veteran as a way to come out and just have a good time and have some camaraderie with his brothers and sisters. And that's what I really think is important. This isn't sold to them as like, hey, you're fat, come get in shape. It's sold to them like, hey, come have a good time. We aren't here to tell you what to work on. We're just here to tell you to come enjoy yourself. And naturally, they're working on some of those things, on the back end without even really knowing it. So that's what we really appreciate about what they do up there. And that's why we're so happy to be working with them.
Yeah. And as someone who does isolate and has a tendency to isolate themselves, especially when I'm not at work, having those communities and having those areas to go are life-changing. So, it's a great, amazing program.
Yeah, I think Brandon has mentioned this before, but when it comes to suicide prevention and addressing that issue, reducing isolation and increasing engagement, getting people out of the house and having a good time can only help. And it definitely serves as a protective factor, what you guys are doing up there.
Yeah. I read a lot of things, related to best practices and theory, just as part of continued professional development and really wanting to understand, the population that we serve and it's good to do your homework, right? So,
Right.
a lot of what I have read has to do with that, in office kind of like conversations with mental health practitioners is very important. Absolutely. And there's an aspect of experiential strategies for managing health and life that are real important too. And a lot of the things that people are talking about in these articles are this idea about transforming stress into personal strengths, fostering development of social networks, being able to find places where you can have lived expression of your personal values, as well as a sense of autonomy and control, right? And this is what we want for all people, right? So
right. Yeah, 100%.
And that's what I like about it, is that it's a real strength-based approach to health management. And I think that recreation-based programs naturally slide into that, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about, learning to be better at, whatever it is, because you're interested in it, being able to connect with other people around those things because it's fun, right? And a lot of those things, like you're saying, it's kind of backdoor, but they are inherent in what we're doing. And, that's on our, rec participation. And if we're working with somebody specifically, individually, we might be a little bit in a more space to have meaningful conversations with people. Again,
Right.
driven by the veteran, but still meaningful conversation about what is it that you're wanting for your life, and how can we kind of be a partner in solving those problems.
And not to mention, just physical exercise has tremendous mental health benefits just in general.
Oh, yeah.
We don't need to go into nerdy details about that, but it's good for you.
Yeah.
You guys should all do it. Anybody who's listening.
I do love nerdy details, but agreed 100%. Yeah. The other thing that I think is important, and always important to talk about, is this idea of no wrong door, and the importance of addressing stigma, personal beliefs, or even contextual factors that are barriers for seeking support that might be very, very needed for folks. So, there's nothing like riding a bike with somebody to kind of break down barriers a little bit. And it allows me to say, hey, do you know about X and such resource over here? Do you know about ClearPath? Do you know about, just different resources, and make some very personal connections to whether it be VA or other, veteran service providers. And I think that's, we're this is a great opportunity that I'm grateful for networking with you guys. We did some really great grant work together over the fall into the winter. And I think that is also a strength of our New England community. We're not that big, so we have capacity to kind of know who's around, and we can kind of, do some more handoffs and introductions.
So because our focus amazing, and I want to let Sue know we are going to answer your question here very shortly. So because we are talking about veteran suicide and really kind of the prevention, what does the research say when it comes to suicide prevention and kind of working in that recreational therapy?
Yeah. So, research on rec therapy programs, there's an awful lot of quality of life research. So participation in rec-based programs or recreation therapy programs are associated with increased quality of life, greater self-efficacy, sense of connectedness and belonging, all of those things that we were just talking about that are hey, we should be creating solutions that ... And we're always ooh, pick rec, right? Part of the solution. So, that is part of what they're saying. We have done research on our own programs, and those outcomes, again, are related to quality of life. So our quality of life, we use a World Health Quality of Life scale that talks about environmental quality of life. So how are you accessing the spaces around you, accessing information, feeling confident and safe in your environment, social quality of life, being connected with other people, and emotional and physical quality of life. So what we have seen in our, the studies that we've done with our programs have been significant increases in quality of life. And the other thing that I think is real important is this idea of health satisfaction. So people experiencing a greater sense of satisfaction with their health, despite the fact that the permanent disability might not change, or my experience of chronic pain might still persist. And that really speaks to the work that people are doing around sort of adapting, right? So we talk about adaptive recreation, but also recreation is part of just adapting to, like how life is now, and kind of redefining what things mean, right? It's our brain's job to tell us stories about what things mean. And I find that a lot of times within the context of our programs, whether it be our individual or our vet rec programs, people start to like maybe tell a different story about themselves and what disability or their health condition might mean. And that has, that telling side effect of you're more satisfied, which is important, right?
I think lots of people too, they realize that kind of, a lot of our disabilities have been the definition of you or us for years. A lot of people, they identify with their disabilities. So getting them engaged in some of these recreational activities and them realizing that these disabilities aren't as limiting as they've made them out to be in their own head, or a way people have made it out to be to them, that they've put to them, so that they've just accepted, to kind of challenge, some of those personal beliefs that they've had and some of those stories that they've been told about things that they won't be able to do anymore. To be able to conquer those it's very rewarding and uplifting. And the motion timer.
They weren't moving enough.
Sitting still in the office too long.
It's definitely it's a great thing for people to get involved in. The important thing to remember though too is that this is a holistic approach. This is just one tool. You can't build a house with one tool. You need many different tools to build a house and to get things accomplished. And that this is just another tool to add to your toolbox to use with all the other tools that you use in life to get to that house being built.
Yeah.
So what do veterans need to be eligible? Like, what's the eligibility to participate in your programs?
Well, we need them to have served their country in a branch of the military. And then we need them to sign up.
And is that the best way through your website? And like where, I guess the other piece of that is all the programs at the University of New Hampshire, are they kind of all over? How do people, where can people connect?
Do you have to meet a certain discharge status or be of a certain era?
No.
Okay.
No, any veteran. Yeah. So we need, you can sign up directly through our website. So like the nepassage.org, if you go down to the bottom, there's like upcoming events and you can click on see all events and it will show you our complete calendar. So that complete calendar will include our non-veteran events as well as our veteran events. So you can just kind of filter through and be like, oh, veteran archery, I'm in. Right. And click on that and you sign up. Or you could call the office and say, I saw archery. Tell me more about that. Can you help me sign up? So we have, Katie or Danny generally answer the phone, and they're really great about kind of like getting the people connected with the information that they need. We can also put people on our mailing list, and you'll get when we have, and we generally kind of do things seasonally. So like a big email blast just went out to like everybody all the veterans on our mailing list of just the veteran events, so that it kind of pre-filters it for people. And those emails also generally have live links, so you can just click and it'll bring you through the process of signing up.
Yeah. Also, if anybody needs help with signing up with anything, ClearPath is a referral for Northeast Passage too. So if you're having a difficulty with that, just come on into the building and we can get any details about any programs that they offer up there. And they also come down and offer programs here at our building as well. So that's something that's going to be coming, especially with COVID relaxing, our partnership with Northeast Passage. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff down at the ClearPath building as well. So there'll be opportunities to participate in some of these fun recreational activities down here in the Massachusetts area.
Awesome.
So I can't believe we've gotten this far into this already, and Kelly's just been patiently waiting to explain the 50-50, right?
The 50-50. Yes.
50-50.
It's not the only reason I'm here, but
but she's got it down.
All right, Kelly, you want to share?
Yeah, let's do it. So the reason, we are here today, we're also talking about suicide prevention, and we have a 50-50 raffle going on right now. It's to help fund programs for ClearPath New England to help reduce the risk of suicide and suicide prevention. The 50-50 is currently at $15,200. So half of that, minus taxes, is the final prize. But there are some great early bird prizes. So the earlier you register, the better. So if you were to register for today, you would be automatically put in for both early birds. The next early bird drawing is a weekend at the Cape, a hotel stay for 2 with dinner for 2 and a round of golf for 2. And then the week after that, this is the one that kind of gets people interested, is Patriots versus Tampa Bay tickets with a hotel stay and dinner at the 110 Grill. And then we'll be doing the drawing for the 50-50. Also, if you do win an early bird prize, you are still eligible for the 50-50 cash. It's been a great program that we've been, working on for the last couple of weeks, and we've raised a lot of money. So every dollar goes to help, the veterans in our organization, with recreation, with education, training, and so many of our services.
Sharing is caring, friends. So even
Yes.
a small,
Definitely caring.
please feel free to share us with your friends, your family. All of that helps get our messaging out there. So Sue did have a question. Thank you so much, Kelly. Sue had a question about volunteer opportunities. Do you have, does any passage have, we lost you. We're still on, I think, right? Okay.
Yeah,
Do you have volunteer opportunities?
Yeah, we do have volunteer opportunities. During COVID, per COVID protocols and university rules, we needed to dial back on our volunteer opportunities, but we're looking forward to that opening up again. And if you go on our website, there is a volunteer opportunities, and we have a volunteer training that we have people go through, and then kind of depending on what it is that you are interested in doing, and there's sort of differing levels of responsibility and client engagement. There are some additional steps for background checks and making sure that people are safe. So if you're interested, 100% check out our website. You can also connect with me, and I can try to help direct you if you're having a hard time with that.
If you're looking to volunteer with us at ClearPath, you just go to our website. We have a volunteer link to submit your information, and our volunteer coordinator will be in contact with you to set something up.
Awesome.
There's always something to do here, so.
Yes.
There is. Well, everybody, thank you so much. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for your service. Thank you for all that you do to make a difference in the lives of our veterans and our friends. Please do leave comments or questions after if you're catching the replay. And we would love your support. Share our mission here with our ClearPath 50-50. Again, it's kind of a win-win. You get to split the jackpot with us, a chance to win so many great prizes. But not only that, you're also bringing attention to a really big issue surrounding veteran suicide and also the veterans' journey home. And you're sharing these great programs that many people don't know. So share away, and we appreciate you. Everybody, have a great afternoon. Catch the early bird live stream tomorrow at 11 a.m. We will be announcing our winner for this week's early bird. As Kelly said, the Ocean's Edge weekend.
Ocean's Edge, yeah.
It's a beautiful, beautiful place down the Cape.
Gorgeous.
So who could it be? Who could it be? And you can win that, and you might be able to
It'd be me.
Yeah.
All right, friends.
So make sure you get those tickets today, and you'll be eligible for that next early bird. But you have to get them by midnight tonight, right?
11:59.
11:59. Yep.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you tomorrow on our early bird announcement. Thanks so much for your support. Have a good afternoon.
Bye.